We are back once again like we never left, and this time it is State of the Matters, where we will be bringing you top stories making headlines all over the globe. Firstly, Remi Tinubu tries to save husband's face amid economic crisis. Meanwhile, Amaechi shades Tinubu and Akpabio. And Okonkwo throws political jab at Tinubu as ADC Stom gathers. To join me on set to have this conversation is Kings Ojalo and Ugochukwu Ifeanyichukwu. I remain your host, Cassie Tony. Welcome back to the show, Kings.
Thank you, Cassie, as usual.
As usual. And to you, Ugochukwu, welcome. Right, you look different. I see you have a touch of tie and,
No, it's good for a change.
Okay. Change is constant, right?
As Nigeria changes, we change with the dynamism of the country.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ugochukwu. Yeah. So I'm going to start with you, Kings Ojalo. Remi Tinubu, that's the First Lady, has come out to say that economic crisis is reducing in Nigeria. Now that statement sounds somehow. She, as a First Lady, what is her impact in the society aside from the Miriam Babangida's impact of the family support program? What has she impacted into Nigerian women since she became the First Lady of the country?
Yes, if I could recall that statement very well, she actually made it clear that it was inherited, understand, probably from past administrations, and definitely not just the economic crisis is stable. She made it known that it was inherited when she was speaking to the first news there in Washington, D.C., I could recall, you understand, during an interview where she provided the following statement and also proclamation of a historical forum, refinery capability in the country, economics saying that the country is going through economic stability, optimistic outlook, and so many others, you understand. Forgetting the fact that she also made mention of something that really baffled me, saying that, Nigeria has gone past the era of producing crude oil here and going overseas to refine it, but now we have the capability and capacity to refine. But let me point it to the First Lady of Nigeria. Most of her statements, I think it's a cover-up for her husband, because she also pointed that her husband, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, you see, it's a cover-up and it is the right thing to do. I wouldn't want to...
So you say that statement is a cover-up?
Of course, it's a cover-up, you understand. Every loyalist or every First Lady, wouldn't want to drag the leg of the President, which is her husband. Now, let me make it clear to her. When she talked about highlighting some current past administration of the causes of the current situation in the country, yes, I in one way or the other go with her. Yes, we could recall, this insurgency. It has been an occurrence, I think, since year 2029, even from the past administration of that of also that of Goodluck Jonathan, even the late as the president who Goodluck took over from, and also Buhari, the later Buhari administration. We know how it has been. Then it came to this administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which it has still been occurring. Now, she also talked about economic stability. Let the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria know that Nigeria is still having an outstanding debt of, we have an external debt of over 46
so that statement
46.98 billion dollars, which is, I'm coming to that.
I'm going to interrupt you. The statement where she said Nigerian economic crisis is reducing, that means it's false, right?
Of course it's false. Look at the amount of debt. 771.85 trillion naira debt we are holding.
You agree that it's false?
Of course it's false. Look at the economic, look at the debt that we are holding, currently from the World Bank and other external industry. So when the First Lady is talking about economic stability, I think it's a spit to the face of Nigeria. So she should reaffirm her statement.
So over to you, Ugochukwu. Do you have a contrary opinion? The First Lady said that since the removal of fuel subsidy in Nigeria is now producing their own oil. So which of the refinery is she referring to? Is it the one owned by Dangote, or there's another refinery somewhere? And then she also made mention of the Christian genocide, that it was false, it wasn't true, that Nigeria only did that because election is around the corner, that whenever election is around the corner, there's always one problem to another, and then when the authorities want to involve foreign investors, they'll bring problem in order for foreign investors not to come into the country. So is she now saying that there was never genocide in the country, Christian genocide in the country? And which of the refinery is she referring to? Is it the public refinery? Because to the best of my knowledge, I've not heard of any refinery that is owned by Nigerians apart from the Dangote's refinery. So which of them is she referring to?
I don't know the luxury of time I have for this question. These are very fundamental questions and very fundamental insights.
Okay.
It is very laughable that the First Lady will be bringing her leg out to the public.
Exactly.
It is very, very unnecessary for her to be making policy statements because the office she's occupying is not an elective office.
Yes.
She's not nobody is holding her accountable for anything.
You're right.
But that is why I say that it is very, very unnecessary for her to be dragging herself to the more key waters of politics in Nigeria. And trust Nigerians, they will drag her until she will begin to beg. She would have sat back, as the late Buhari said, that you remain in the kitchen and the other room. But for her to be, making policy statements in order to save her husband's face, it is very, very uncalled for.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because Nigerian politics is very deep. It's deeper than what Tinubu thought he did in Lagos.
Exactly.
Because when he has come to the more public space, the federal space of Nigeria, and he's finding out that it's not as easy as he thought. Even the late Buhari confessed that he had not had it so difficult. That even when he was younger, he believed he assumed that he was even younger, and that democratic setting is quite different from military rule, where you take orders by fiat. So Remi Tinubu, talking about economic policies, dabbling into the refinery, the Christian genocide. I think with the eulogizing and the mentioning of Trump and the recognition Trump gave her, she would have come back to Nigeria and kept quiet and enjoyed the euphoria while it lasts. But to have dragged herself into what is staring everybody in the face about the genocide and the states, accompanied marginalization and slaughtering of Christians in Nigeria. She shouldn't have dragged herself into that, because in Benue State, in Taraba State,
Kwara State.
in Kwara recently, although we saw how Nigerian press and journalists were able to quickly target Muslim massacre.
Yeah.
So, but all those other ones happening, we've not had them target Christian massacre. Even when it happened in the Christian-dominated area like Southern Kaduna, in Benue State, that people are sacked from their houses. So, if not for Miriam Babangida, during the time her husband was on the saddle, that floated this family support program, and people benefited, and there were structures that she built that are standing the test of time till today. In those states that existed when her husband was in state, you will see those buildings. She did it as her pet project. But what has Mrs. President done?
Okay.
What has Remi Tinubu done to improve the life of women and growing youths? and the women in Nigeria, the women youth and all that. What has she done? The refinery she is referring to is owned by Dangote, and also indicting her husband is a minister for petroleum. So and all the 4 refineries in Nigeria are not producing even one single of oil, and people are being paid. Millions of naira are being paid to those who are occupying those offices that are producing nothing in Nigeria. So what is she telling us? The only way I give Tinubu a kind of credit is the stabilization of the naira. During Buhari regime, you wake up tomorrow and the price is something you cannot tell, but at least Tinubu has tried in stabilizing it, but it's still on a very high side.
So in other words, her statement is not authentic.
No. Her statement is neither here nor there, but I will advise her.
She brought herself out to be dragged. She
brought herself to be dragged, and which she shouldn't. She should enjoy that recognition as a respected woman that Donald Trump, maybe he's in the folio of that hype that she's coming out to make this
talk, so that we can hear her
statement, which I think is really not in the interest of Nigerians.
All right. Do you have any other thing to add based on what Ugochukwu says?
Well, based on my observation, still on the Remi Tinubu, that's the First Lady of Nigeria. Well, just like I said earlier on, it's a kind of cover-up, yes, on her husband, which is the president. But let her not forget the fact that Nigerians are going through some up and downs in terms of insecurity. You understand? So I think those are the things she would have made known to the public, even while in the United States of America, rather than trying to bring out, some things that the country don't really have as at now. Okay, look at the refinery we're talking about, and if you remember, I think if not for the Dangote refinery, who has been able to, process fuel and all of that, which other government refinery is working in that instance? Okay. So that is what we are looking at here. So we should let known the truth so that at least we'll get help even from foreign delegates.
All right, thank you so much.
Cassie, I think Remi Tinubu priced herself as a pastor, and you see the outcry that greeted some of the killings that even made America react, and the Catholic Pope. Yeah. Is she saying that those personalities and those Christian leaders lied against the Nigerian state?
Already she said the genocide
it
was
is
just
not politically motivated. Okay. That is where she got it wrong. That's why I said she should not allow herself to be dragged into the murky waters of politics. Nigerian politics is very dirty, and she won't like it if she enters it. Okay. I am telling you for free that we saw people buried. We saw mass graves in Benue. We saw mass graves happen in Taraba. You remember the former chief of defense staff in the person of Danjuma saying that the military collude with those terrorists to kill Nigerians. So when Apostle Suleiman said that Nigerians should defend themselves, and a lot of governors, even to the extent that the governor of Borno State said that people should be praying. Even the NSA said that Nigerians should pray. So what is she telling us? That is it that those killings didn't happen? Or who is the politician that must... Okay, even if, let us assume without considering that it is motivated by politicians, what is the job of Mr. President, who is the commander-in-chief? That should be the question. She should be talking to her husband in the room. Okay. And leave Nigerians alone to go through the excruciating pain that we are going through. All right. Nigerians are going through a lot, economically and otherwise, and they are killing us in our houses again.
So you said she should talk to the husband in the room?
Yeah, that's the best place she will help us, Nigerians, to talk to the husband. Tinubu,
talk to your husband in the room.
Yes.
Tinubu, right? Remi Tinubu, yes. Talk to your husband in the room. Yeah. Moving to another development, Amaechi shading Tinubu and Akpabio. Now, Amaechi, is it crying a baby, crying a river, or are we seeing sentiment here? Because Amaechi said Tinubu doesn't care about the people. Even Akpabio too, they do not care. He made reference to the same Christian genocide that happened last year and state of emergency that he called in November. And then he said Tinubu did not show any concern, that it was when President Donald Trump said that Nigeria is a country of particular concern that Tinubu has to rise up because his office was threatened as a president. Now, did Tinubu do this out of selfish interest, How true is this statement that Amaechi is giving to the public? And before you come in, he said that Godswill Akpabio, when it is time for election, he will be in his mansion, sleeping, and having police people guiding him, while Nigerians are there fighting over false results. Now, we remember his former chief of staff coming out to say that results are being decided by the assembly, by the government. Now, Amaechi already know how this result is being deliberated on. Is he afraid that it will also affect him, because he is involved here as well?
They say he who comes to equity must come with clean hands. And given what we have heard Amaechi say, I would say he's whipping up sentiment. That's how to crown it. Amaechi is whipping up sentiment because he who wears the shoe knows where he pinches.
Yeah.
And if you have gone through a road, you don't need to ask somebody to lead you through. Amaechi is, if I may say, he's speaking out of experience.
Okay.
Given that he knows how the election results are manufactured in Nigeria. His former chief of staff, you're talking about Chief Tony Okocha, who is the current APC chairman in Rivers State, has alluded or has asserted, his assertion is no longer alleged, that election results are written in the government house. That was when the governor of Rivers State, Senator Fobara, was trying to conduct an election with the party APP. So he came out to make that statement.
Okay.
And the Nigerian security agencies, even nobody has taken him to court or called him to account. That's the type of country we find ourselves. We have people make such weighty statements and they go free. And even the leaders that we are following. It is very, very unfortunate. But be that as it may, it is very germane to state that Amaechi, who occupied for 8 years the speakership of Rivers State, became a governor and became a super minister 2 times, and director general that delivered Buhari 2 times as a president, is no mean feat. But for him to come out and say that Akpabio stays in the mansion, and that was where he was also staying when he was in position to now allow the people. I know that election crisis happened during his time. People were killed and maimed. Electoral ballot boxes were snatched. What did he do? Did he come to renounce, like Yaradua, the election that brought him to power? Or did he come to make this statement then? Or now he's whipping up sentiments? I am not moved by such sentiments. By those who has opportunity to change the narrative but did nothing. I'm not talking about his infrastructural development, which centered on health and school development in Rivers State, but in making our election being, internationally acclaimed. But now coming out, because that the APC is in the driving seat, and he fell out with Tinubu, just coming out from the cabal of Muhammadu Buhari, and now he cannot find his feet there, given how Tinubu, flawed him during the primaries of APC in 2022. So, what is he telling Nigerians? And he came out saying he came out with his son to come and protest.
Exactly.
He's still protesting under the guise of security agencies. He's not suffering what an ordinary Nigerian is suffering. Amaechi can use a private jet, fly to any part of the country to get treatment, to even relocate. He has how many national citizenship does he have?
Sorry to interject. He said his son is a medical doctor, and in case of any casualty, the son
will treat the person. No, this is just sentiment. I think he's playing politics with the life of Nigeria, and so many things that are very, very germane in the Nigerian electoral system that will give us that good governance we are all yearning for, and which he's now preaching. But when he was on the saddle, he never preached it. He never thought about how to right the wrongs as it concerns the electoral act that will produce a seamless election that will give us the person we voted for. But now he's whipping up sentiment, knowing that those people also know how they rig the election. So the message I have for him and the RFI and those in ADC is if they don't have the rigged election, they should match APC in their own game.
Now, Amaechi said that he used that phrase, we should come out and protest for the e-transmission during election. Now, that phrase that he used, we, does it mean that when it's time for this protest, he will be there? Because already we're seeing some confrontation that he was having with some policemen during this ongoing protest. He's coming out now to use that phrase, we. When it gets heated, will he still be there?
Amaechi is not the only one who has used the word we. So many high-profile personas as well, even that of Peter Obi, talk of Aisha Yusuf, and so many others. You see, in the case of Amaechi, you see, these are oppositions, you understand? Normal, all oppositions will want to come together, to raise, especially in a situation like this where this electronic act and whatever that has been, put to law, which the whole federation is against. Now, I think from what Amaechi is trying to do, he wants to make sure that whatever is done is whatever should be done should be what doing well. You understand? We don't want partiality anymore, and Nigerians are tired of a situation whereby the administration or the ruling party, tends to take total control, do things on their own way. So that is what Amaechi is trying to also let know to the Senate President Akpabio. We all know the action they took not quite long. So now he's talking about highlight disconnect and also some other electronic forum which he brought about, and he participated in the protest to make sure that this amendment is being looked into. You understand? The life of Obi also did the same. Now, having a confrontation with police is normal thing. You understand? When these people are giving orders from higher authority, no matter who is leading the protest, be you high profile person, whoever gives them the order has given them the order. Whoever, so it's a normal thing. But Amaechi trying to call on Nigerians, he should also know that, look, Nigeria is a country that, these people most of the time don't listen to protests. You understand? At the end, it becomes a chaos. It becomes disaster. So when people come out for their right, when people come out to protest against something that is unraveling the country, definitely when this so-called military, what becomes the outcome is either people are being chased away with tear gas, shot with bullets on their leg, and thereabouts. So him is in a secure hand. You understand? Because even if definitely he's well recognized in that process. So even if he knows how to fix himself. We are talking about you understand? We are talking about common Nigerians who don't really have what it takes, you understand, to escape such, disaster during protest. So
you're saying that statement, he doesn't really mean it?
Well, not that it doesn't really mean it. He is calling on the federation to stand against what has been passed into the. But on the long run,
he would disappear.
So on the long run, this is a metaphor. This is a protest of an opposition against the ruling party. So
now we have seen Kenneth Okonkwo, that's the veteran Nollywood actor.
Yes.
He's always throwing shade at the president. This time around, he's now making sarcastic statements against the president that even if he's the only one contesting for the 2027 election, he will not still win. How true is this statement? Like, how factual is this statement?
Well, he's also in the opposition, which is the ADC.
Yeah.
I understand. Well, I can't undermine his statements. He has really looking at the country situation. He is looking at the perspective of Nigeria's current situation, knowing fully well that Nigerians, with the circumstances they've gone through, with the situations at hand, with the insecurity and thereabout, he knows fully well that if the president could go through a free and fair election, that definitely no one is willing to vote. We are not talking about defected governors who want to stand by the president. We are not talking about the so-called loyalists and his great loyalists. We're talking about the FCT minister who is carrying about his Renew Hope agenda and development. We are talking about the people who really own democracy, the people who really, who votes. We definitely speak for the country. So he's talking about those people that if truly Nigerians can be given upper hand to make sure that this election is being taken by Nigerians, definitely no one will definitely come out with the current situation happening in Nigeria. And so definitely it is the people who are being affected by the situation. So that is what he's talking about here.
Okay, over to you, Ugochukwu. Let's hear what you have to say about this statement.
Well, Kenneth Okonkwo is a politician.
Yes.
All of us are political animals. And what differentiates us is our level of interest in politics. And also, even in politics, when you have an interest, there are those who play the politics by being active participants, those passive, and also those that they only follow the orga, as the case may be. And Kenneth Okonkwo have said it because of what we just said about. In fact, the three items we looked at, they are very interrelated. You know, Remi Tinubu coming to tell us about how the economy is when we are not feeling the impact. When we are also have our two eyes to see the progress and development that the husband has brought in 3 years. Then we are looking at Amaechi, who is telling us to stand our ground when there is no ground to stand on. When they didn't lay the foundation for us to stand on, because now it's not favoring him. And Kenneth Okonkwo, who is throwing shades always, he has left Obi and Atiku, and now it's Tinubu he's facing. I don't know where he's coming from, but one advice I have for Okonkwo and Amaechi is elections in Nigeria, continue to say, is won on the amount of violence you can cause, the amount of talks you can gather, and the amount of war chest, the deep pocket you have in throwing monies around. So let them go and gather their own, because I recall vividly that Obi was being dragged by this same Kenneth Okonkwo, that he was not able to protect the vote Nigerians gave to him, and that is why he has left Obi to join the Atiku. So let him be planning on how to guide the vote of Nigerians in this ADC now. Let them match those people action for action, word for word. They know how the elections are rigged. Can they block the loopholes? He accused Obi that Aisha Yusuf ate the money that we are to be given to the polling agents. You know, in many places, Labour Party did not have polling agents, and these are the people that protect the vote, or maybe even record the on the spot announcement of results. So all those loopholes that they have found, they should go about quietly. Because I don't think so. I don't think, in my view, that even electronic transmission or whatever that can do much. Because our elections are still going through manual process. Let them match those people, those master riggers. Let them match them, action by action, then energy by energy. Not coming to tell us that even if Tinubu comes out and contests alone. See, you know why elections were conducted in Anambra before this one Soludo did? When IPOB found out that if they didn't come out for the election, that they will declare, they can bring in somebody to come and govern. So whether you come out and 2 people vote or 3 people, election is election. Once the federal government has declared it. So what we are talking about here is, let them help Nigerians to safeguard the vote of Nigerians. And let Kenneth Okonkwo, we know Nigerians are going through a lot. But let him also know that those Nigerians that are going through a lot are ready to sell their PVC at 5,000. Of t-shirt and face cap, wear ADC in the morning, wear APC in the afternoon.
You're right.
The same people. So let them educate the people on how not to sell their rights. We know we are all hungry. But let them educate the people more that now you are hungry, but if you get it right, you'll not be hungry again. But Nigerians ready not to vote Tinubu, as he said, if they are giving money. Some people can take money and decide not to vote. Have our people risen to that consciousness? That is $1 million question. So him and Amaechi and those in the opposition should do more than throwing shades.
And that's it on State of the Matters. Many thanks for staying tuned. Stay engaged, stay informed on this channel. I remain your host, Kasitoni. It's a bye for now.